Potatoes are another staple food that is often mistakenly stored in the refrigerator, even though cold storage can significantly damage their quality and, in some cases, create additional health and cooking concerns. Potatoes are tubers, not true roots, and they are biologically designed to be stored in cool but not cold conditions. When potatoes are exposed to refrigerator temperatures, typically below about 7 to 10 degrees Celsius, 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, a process known as cold-induced sweetening occurs. In this process, the potato's natural starches are broken down into simple sugars such as glucose and fructose. While this conversion may sound harmless, it has several negative consequences that affect taste, texture, and culinary performance. One of the most noticeable problems with refrigerating potatoes is the change in flavor. As starch converts to sugar, potatoes develop an unnatural sweetness that clashes with their expected savory profile. This can be especially unpleasant in dishes like mashed potatoes, fries, or roasted potatoes, where a clean, earthy taste is essential. Instead of a balanced flavor, refrigerated potatoes can taste oddly sweet and dull, lacking the depth and richness associated with properly stored tubers. Even after cooking, this sweetness often remains, making it difficult to mask with seasoning. Texture is also negatively affected by cold storage. Starch plays a crucial role in giving potatoes their fluffy, creamy, or crisp qualities, depending on how they are cooked. When starch levels are reduced due to cold-induced sugar formation, potatoes may develop a gritty, grainy, or mealy texture. In mashed potatoes, this can result in a gluey or uneven consistency. In fried or baked preparations, the potatoes may fail to crisp properly on the outside while becoming dense or unpleasantly soft inside. Once this internal starch structure has been altered, returning the potatoes to room temperature does not fully reverse the damage. There are also important safety and cooking concerns associated with refrigerating potatoes. When sugar-rich potatoes are cooked at high temperatures, particularly through frying or roasting, the excess sugars react with amino acids in a chemical process known as the Maillard reaction. While this reaction is responsible for browning and flavor, excessive sugar levels can lead to overly dark coloration and the increased formation of acrylamide, a compound that has raised health concerns in scientific research. Although occasional exposure is not immediately dangerous, consistently cooking cold-stored potatoes at high heat may increase unnecessary dietary risk. Refrigeration can also affect the potato's shelf stability in unexpected ways. While cold temperatures may slow visible spoilage in the short term, they can create internal quality degradation that is not immediately apparent. Once refrigerated potatoes are returned to warmer conditions, they may sprout irregularly, soften unevenly, or develop off odors more quickly than potatoes that were never chilled. This false sense of preservation often leads people to keep potatoes longer than they should, only to discover quality problems when it is time to cook. Moisture management is another issue. Refrigerators tend to have higher humidity, which can encourage condensation on potato skins. Excess moisture promotes rot, mold growth, and bacterial spoilage, particularly if potatoes are stored in plastic bags with limited airflow. Combined with the internal sugar changes caused by cold, this creates an environment where potatoes can look acceptable on the outside while being compromised inside, increasing the likelihood of waste. From a nutritional perspective, the starch-to-sugar conversion slightly alters the potato's glycemic impact, potentially causing faster blood sugar spikes compared to properly stored potatoes. While this change may be modest, it can be relevant for individuals managing blood sugar levels who rely on potatoes as a staple carbohydrate. The overall nutrient content, such as potassium and vitamin C, remains relatively stable, but the functional quality of the carbohydrate is clearly diminished. A better storage strategy is to keep potatoes in a cool, dark, well-ventilated place, ideally between 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, away from direct light and heat. Storing them in paper bags, mesh sacks, or breathable containers helps regulate moisture and preserves their starch structure. Refrigeration should be avoided unless potatoes are cooked first, in which case chilling leftovers is appropriate for food safety. In general, keeping raw potatoes out of the fridge protects their flavor, texture, and cooking performance while avoiding unnecessary chemical and sensory changes that reduce their overall quality.